Hi, it's Rich, Marvelous Ministries. I'm sharing my walk and my journey as a Christian after God healed my heart in November of 2020, after becoming a Christian in 1994. Now, being a Christian is not an intellectual exercise. It's not where I'm going to excel at my memorization and understanding and interpretation of the written word. No. That tells you about God. That lets you understand who He is and how He operates. And my example I want to give, my image this morning I want to give is like a sponge. If you take a sponge that is filled with what we've been filled with living in the world and squeeze it, what comes out? The world. Jesus came to replace that which we put in ourselves, so that when life squeezes us, what comes out is what God has put in. It's kind of like reading about Him and receiving a drop of His living water at a time. At first, when we first become a Christian, we're saturated with the world. And there's this introduction that takes place from heaven in your heart, the sponge. And the more we fill the sponge with what's from heaven, the less there is of the world in our hearts. There's hardness, there's unforgiveness, there's scars, there's wounds, there's pain. There's so many things in our hearts. It's in our minds too. Our minds are always going to be a battlefield, but our heart is the prize. If our heart is given to God, where we say, Lord, thy will be done in my life, where my will matches His will. It's where I submit to Him, where I love Him so much that what He wants to accomplish through me becomes the most important thing. And eventually, the more you seek Him, the more you put Him first, that sponge will be saturated with what He wants to pour into you. So when you go out into the world, if He pours more into your heart, it can't contain it, because the sponge is saturated, and what He pours in will pour out of you into the lives of others. So what I share is what is revealed to me. It's not scripturally or doctrinally consistent with what the world says. This is for me individually, and I'm just sharing with you. My priorities are changing more and more every day. His love is filling my heart more and more every day. I don't seek to battle for fleshly prizes, because the prize that Jesus came to free is the hearts of mankind, so that they can be joined with Him, and the two shall become one. So you'll be in Christ, doing His will, and not that of the serpent.